I genuinely didn't think I needed to get out of the country. I wanted this specific country or nothing. It helped me to apply during term time because it meant I could, push and get a reference letter in good time. Dr. Elo TV. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, hi there, my name is Nomta or Elo, whatever feels comfortable for you. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for tuning in again. So as you guys know, I said I want to talk about all things university related. So if you're an international student hoping to study abroad for your university degree, I am here to basically ease off the tension, but as well as just talk about how I chose my university. So obviously my experience might be different from what you will experience, but I think from where I stand, I remember that it took me time before I actually started thinking about university. Well, I think sometimes it does help to be surrounded by people that are thinking ahead, because one of the things I noticed for myself is that, like, at the time most people were just focusing on writing their exams, like, you know what, I'm gonna apply when I get the results, but actually that's not how life works. Like, literally you need to have started applying before the results come out, especially if you're hoping to get in the September intake. So don't get me wrong, I think there is still like that room for application by January time, because in the UK, for example, the main intake is September, and when you start so for September intake, the deadline is normally like late January, and it's like, okay, cool, in January you'll probably get your results, but I think it's easier when you start off with a conditional offer. So I have a testimony of my own. I did not qualify for my university, so honestly God works in mysterious ways. So I did not initially qualify for my university. My A-level results were good but not good enough, but right, by the grace of God, I met this girl, right? I'm gonna say her name because I think she deserves some credit for this. So I met Charmaine. Charmaine is a girl I lent with in high school, and so at the time she had received a place at this university that I'm talking about, and so I was like, girl, like, I remember when she told me, I was so excited for her because I was like, you're gonna be in the UK, you're gonna be in it, like, I thought in it was the coolest thing in the world, and I was like, girl, this is dream come true, because I used to watch a lot of like those royal movies, royal series. I thought like it was cool that, this country was like that, you know what I mean? So I was so excited for myself, for her, and I was like, wow, this is so cool for you, right? And at that time, I think I just knew I wanted to study outside as well, but I wasn't really like already on top of the game like that. I was like, that's forward. But actually when I heard, because people were applying, do you get me? But then she had got a job, she had got a place, and I was like, this is crazy. So I slept on it, and I was like, do you know what, like, I want to try that too, So I searched her university. I said, girl, what university did you say you're going to again? She told me everything, and I was like, I want to go there as well. Like, can you send me the details? Who did you use? How did you get in contact? Because at the time I knew so much that there's this UCAS situation for applying to UK universities, and I couldn't maneuver around UCAS, so I was very confused how to use the website and all of that. And so I was just like, do you know what, I want if a university doesn't allow me to apply directly, then I don't want it. That's literally what my energy was. And so when she gave me the contact, I was able to contact the agent who was working for Swansea University at the time, and he helped me throughout the whole process and said, okay, yeah, apply using this. And I had to use predicted scores as well as just like my, the reviews from my teachers and all of that, and not even my teachers, just one reference letter, to be honest. And so I was able to do all of that whilst in school. It helped me to apply during term time because it meant I could push and get a reference letter in good time as well. So I think those are things that you need to consider if you are planning to study outside. And to be honest, people overthink the whole personal statement thing. I send videos online and everything like that. It's just literally just a little story. Like, I don't even think they read it, but you know what, you do you. You try your best. But I really think that it's so easy to get to get accepted. Maybe it's because of my experience, but I don't think it's that deep. Like, just write what your truth, and don't overthink or complicate it, or think like you need to stay 5 years, because it's different. You're not applying for a scholarship, you just want to be enrolled into the course, and you're going to be paying loads of money, so nobody really cares about your personal statement. well, this is subjective information. Of course, do put effort, but I'm saying don't overthink it. That's my point. So anyways, on top of that, right, I did my whole personal statement and everything, and I submitted the application, right? And I submitted the application, and I was like, well, yeah, told the agent, yeah, I've submitted everything I need. And you know, he was like, yeah, just wait on the university, they'll contact you. And they did contact me, and they said, yeah, we've granted you a conditional offer. So when you get a conditional offer, these I think were the perks in my time, and this was God's power definitely made manifest, because at this time I wasn't communicating with my family. I was just thinking, I communicated when I got the conditional offer that yeah, I've got a conditional offer, but at the same time I was just like putting my feet everywhere else. I was trying to apply to other universities in the UK. Why? Just because I don't know, at the time I think I had already applied to them before I got the conditional offer, because I was thinking I need to make sure I get something somewhere. And so with the conditional offers, I was just like, oh yeah, I got conditional offers. And like people are like, okay, whatever, let's wait. You haven't even graduated, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? So finally I graduate and I get the so to be honest, Swansea was my first choice. Like so many people when I came here were like, this wasn't their first choice, like as if it was just like a thing they came to. But for me, when I searched it up, I was like, this university has a beach right outside, and I'm coming straight from Zimbabwe. I've not seen a beach at all in my life, actually. So I'm like, I need this, I want to go there. Like I really wanted this university. But like along the way, guys, do you know what I mean? Like I feel like when you look at my story right now, you're like, okay, cool, everything's fine, this girl's abroad, she's living her best life. But before that, I remember I was on a chicken bus going to apply to use it. I was, you know, I went everywhere. So I was applying to all these universities, because at the end of the day I knew that like we couldn't physically like afford as much. We didn't have, you know, I didn't know where the finances would come from. I didn't know how my story would just like flip, and you know, I'm in the UK. I was like hoping and having faith, and I think it did help that God put me in a position where I was able to dream. So the high school I went to at the end of my course, at the end of my for A level, made me meet people that believed anything was possible. And so it was easy for me to like see it and believe it. Like that's how my friend was able to tell me, hey, I got a place at Swansea, and I was able to breathe and believe that Swansea was mine as well, even though I didn't have, you know, the money or the capacity. Like my mindset shifted to, this is possible. Like I always wanted to go to the UK, but I didn't know how. I just had a dream of going to the UK, do you get me? And so finding an opportunity that was like, yes, you can go to the UK through this route. And I was like, God, I really want this, I really want this. And so talking to everyone else was hard, because obviously people can't share your dream. And so people were trying to be like, girl, maybe tone it down, maybe try everywhere else, maybe this and that, you know, like they were not necessarily like in sync with what I was saying, because of how unrealistic it was at the time. So I was like hoping against hope that may this work out. At the same time I was applying to NAST, and I was like, why do you know what I mean? Like, because in as much as I wanted this for myself, I couldn't go against the people that would support me at the end of the day, because I couldn't pay for myself. So if my parents believed that I should have applied to NAST, I should, you know, but God blocked those doors. So this is a testimony in itself. Like literally, I did not get a place at NAST, I did not get a place at UZ. Like they didn't respond to me, they didn't reject me, but they never said anything. I don't think they reject you. I think when you get a place, you're told, and when you're not, you just don't get it. And so I didn't have that place, and I was so grateful, but at the same time I was stressed for my life, because it meant that I had to actively keep applying. And it also meant that, Lord, if you don't say anything, I'm gonna be stuck, and I'm gonna be on a gap year, and I don't want to do a gap year. Do you know what I mean? So that was the situation I was in. But at the same time, I had been in a season where I was like 100% the university I want, even if it's in the UK, is specifically Swansea. But the thing was, I was like, if it's not Swansea, if it's not UK, I'd rather come back home, because I'm not about to learn a new language. I was just like very like adamant about the whole nice experience of being in a different country that doesn't speak English. So now speed forward to now I've chosen the university I want, and I'm now praying for the funds. Like there's nothing. And so that's the thing. I remember I started applying to Germany as well, and this guy used to be on my case because this was COVID season, but he'd literally be like, you need to come in May, pay this much, and it became frustrating. And it really reminded me, I was talking to my friend the other day, that like sometimes when you're impatient with God for Isaac, you end up birthing Ishmael, who then becomes like a hindrance when you're still looking for Isaac. When Isaac comes along, Ishmael is still like on your case, because he was like so rushing me, and I was like, bro, if it's rushed, it's not God, because it wasn't even my option. It was one of those where I was doing it to please my parents, to show them that I'm actively trying other options so that we can try and get me out of here. So anyways, the point of the matter, point blank, is when you're looking for a UK university, you need to look for a university that is affordable based on your situation. If you don't care about funds and you're looking for the best university, you go. You know, I had to search for my university, like its ranking in terms of my subject. To be honest, I didn't even care, because the ultimate thing I cared about was the fact that my university ranked higher than the universities back home. That was my main thing. Like, whether it wasn't number one in its country was none of my business, because I was like, this university is ranking quite good, like in terms of like world ratings. It's there. My country is not even there, so I'm gonna take it. My country is there, but it wasn't there yet. Like, it wasn't at the level that the university was. So I was like, this is big enough for me. Like, for me, I was content, to be honest with you. And so in terms of cost of living as well, you need to consider how much, you know, you can afford. And also, so those are the things I had to consider. But anyways, I think I'll do that separately, as a separate video, because now this has just turned into my story time of just how how my journey went. And so I knew I wanted that university. I wanted to be close to the beach. I wanted to be in the UK, but at the same time, it was a situation where I kept talking to people for counsel, because the Bible does say in the multitude of counsel, you know, there's wisdom. And so I was able to talk to my aunties, my sisters, everyone, just telling them about the situation. And obviously people, when they're not in your situation, they could give different advice. But I remember like the main thing just being like, after all those talks, people were reminding me that if it's not God's will, then I don't want it. And I was thinking, no, but I think I want it. Do you know what I mean? So I had to go back to God, and I was like, God, I want this, and I want it so bad that I'm scared that I might be going against your will. So if this is not what you've planned for me, take away the desire. Do you know what I mean? So that's where I was praying for God to take away the desire, so that I wouldn't even be considering it if it's not his will. And God blocked all the other doors that people were trying to suggest to me, to the point that the main thing that was still like available and real was Swansea. Because if UZ responded to me quicker, I promise you they would have sent me there. But UZ kept quiet. NAST kept quiet. And so the only answer that was still facing everyone was like, this is Swansea, and it said, come, we don't care, you didn't get the results we thought you would get, but we want you regardless. And today the testament of God's favor is literally in my hands, and I'm like, look at me now. Do you know what I mean? So my main point is, you don't want to be where God doesn't want you to be. I found myself crying, begging God to take away the desire, because I was like, I don't feel like I'm ready to let this go. And if it's not you, I don't want to keep holding on to something that will never be. And I feel like that's an important prayer to pray. And if you're not able to pray it, that means maybe you've already like over personalized this thing that you want, and it's become an idol instead of just an opportunity that could lead you to the next step of your life. And my 4 years has been amazing in this country. I know people can tell you anything or whatever they want to say, but my testament of this experience is that if God has allowed you, blessed you to be where you need to be, it will be a good experience, and you will tell that the hand of God has been on your life. And so my advice to you is just pray about the university you want to go to. And sometimes it doesn't have to be a big crazy reason. Like, my main reason was there's a beach outside, and it sounded crazy, but it was just in alignment with where God wanted to take me, and he just made sure that I was in sync by liking where I was going. And so I think it's just praying and making sure that the desire is coming from God and not just from you. And when God is in control, trust me, your life is going to be smooth. You're going to have a good time. You might not even be coming to the UK. You might be going to a different country, but let it not stress you, because I know the amount of pressure I went through trying to break odds and just kick out and be like, I need to get out of the country. And it's like, I genuinely didn't think I needed to get out of the country. I wanted this specific country or nothing. And it's like, sometimes it sounds crazy to other people, But if that's what God is putting in your heart, like sometimes it's good to get advice from people, but also remember what God has put in your heart, because Joseph only dreamt on his own. Do you understand? Like the dream he saw was his own dream. His brothers didn't have to be in on it, they didn't have to understand it, but that didn't mean it wasn't going to come to pass. So don't undermine what God is showing you because of what everyone else around you is saying, but at the same time, be confident and stay in the place of prayer so that God keeps communicating, keeps making the dream real, keeps giving you hope even in a hopeless situation. With that being said, guys, I hope this video encouraged you, motivated you to keep believing for what you want to see God do in your life, and I'll see you again next time. But for now, bye.